Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, yesterday was a really exciting day for myself and others of you that watch this channel on a regular or somewhat regular basis. We held a local meeting here with a lot of homesteaders and preppers and prepared homesteaders and whatever else you want to call us. And so I wanted to talk about that, kind of do a little meeting recap. But then also, because I understand that some of you live far away and you think, well, that's great what you're doing there, but what does that have to do with us? And so I want to go into why it's important. And then hopefully, as we go along with this, we can share how we're doing it and what maybe you can use to kind of replicate in your area to encourage others that are like-minded to come together and learn to kind of build a network of community so that you can work together, train together, share together, help each other out, which is becoming more and more necessary in the world that we live in. So it was really a fun day. Before I get started, I want to ask you, if you enjoy this channel at all, to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. And when you do that, there's a little bell looking icon. You can click on that. And what that does is that should give you notifications for the videos that I upload in the future. That just kind of helps us grow and everything. So yesterday here in the Missouri Ozarks in Texas County, we held a local meeting. I've had meetings before here. Didn't really push them and promote them as much as I, probably could have. And so they weren't all that big. But this time I really kind of tried to promote it as much as I could through this channel and contacts that I have. And there were about 100 people there. And that's including families, the children that were there. And so it was a really good turnout. And we were there. I think the first people arrived around 12:30, and I think the last person left maybe around 7 or 7:30 last night. So it was a long day, and I know myself and my family are kind of wore out because we've been all week kind of working on it, getting things ready. But man, it was so exciting to talk to so many people, meet face to face with so many of you that have watched this channel for a year, 2 years, or longer, and have communicated with me sometimes through email. Some of the people there I already knew, had previously met, but there was a lot of people that it was the first time getting to meet them, and so it was a good, exciting experience for us. But more importantly than that, the people there were able to meet each other. They were able to network, find out that, wow, there's someone that kind of is doing the same thing we're doing, and they only live so many miles from me. And it became a good networking meeting, which was my main purpose of having that meeting, was to be able to create a place where people could meet each other. And then from that point, began the process of creating kind of a community network here in the Ozarks. And so from the feedback and the communication, it was just a very open meeting, people talking. And I did put on a class for beginner kind of herbalism. But for the most part, the meeting was just kind of discussing how we can move forward with this and keep this momentum of us, coming together and talk and learning and sharing, and then having a type of community going, so that with what is happening in our world, that we'll be able to kind of lean on each other and have each other to kind of help us improve our survivability and our sustainability with just the nature of things going on in the world. I mean, it's kind of like everybody knows this, right? I mean, if you're watching this channel or if you attended the meeting yesterday, you probably are well aware of that. It's a crazy world. It's a messed up world. And that's why we're living the way that we do. And taking that step to build a community just makes it all the better. And when I say community, some people seem to get a little confused. I'm not talking about a bunch of people living on the same piece of property. I mean, if that's your thing, that's fine, but it's certainly not necessary. Everyone that was at the meeting either lived within the Ozarks or they were in the process of moving to the Ozarks. And there's no reason why, even though the Ozarks is a big space, I mean, the land square miles covers about a space the size of the state of New York. But there's still no reason why we can't network and connect. And the ones that are closer can certainly be more involved with each other and creating maybe even little mag groups, or just helping each other out. I mean, just simply, bartering and going to each other's, farms and helping them build something or harvest something or fix something. And it was really great to find out that there was such a wide variety of people there. I mean, there were some people there that have lived in a city their whole life, and this is a completely new experience. There were other people there that were born and raised on farms and living simple lives their whole life, and that's all they really know. There were people there that had a big technological background, and some people there that told me that they couldn't hardly send an email and knew how to. It was a pretty wide variety, a lot of kids there, and that made my heart feel good to see all the kids there, the families involved, and young and old, and just a wide variety of people all together. So I want to thank all of you that showed up, and I want to give a special thanks to my wife and my two oldest daughters, because they did all the background work. They cooked everything. Everything was made from scratch, I think, other than the potato chips that were there. And I think everyone enjoyed that part of it too. Now, moving forward, what our plans are here as a group, and we discussed this yesterday, is to not just stop with this meeting. We talked about it yesterday, and we'll talk about it at a future meeting, which I should have a date nailed down for the next meeting. Hopefully this week. I got to talk to the lady in charge of the facility, which ended up being a really good facility. It was very large. Like I said, 100 people there, and probably about 20 of them or so were children, and there was enough room for everyone. There was only one problem, not real big, is I didn't have a microphone, and so with that large of people and people moving around and kids and stuff, it kind of was difficult to hear. They do have a sound system there. You just have to provide your own microphone. And I have a microphone that will work, so the next time we go, actually it's this microphone. There's a certain adapter I need to purchase for it, and I'll be able to plug it into their sound system. So when people speak, you'll be able to hear them better. But other than that, it was a really good facility. Outside stuff for kids to do and go out and play. And for now, we will continue using that facility, but in the future, we may, because the Ozarks is a big space, we may occasionally meet at a further south or something like that, so that people that are further away can participate in the meeting also. But one of the main things we discussed was creating a kind of a communication network. Of course, we talked about ham radio, and future meetings, maybe even the next one, we may do a beginner class on ham radio. And then we also talked about other ways to communicate, of being able to just, shoot an email to someone, or message groups. And there's so many different options, and there's so few options that are kind of secure. So we're talking about that, and we may have a solution to that soon. I know, there's the Telegram group that we host here, that's in Telegram, but that we have. Of course, there's a Facebook group. Some people like those different methods and some people don't. So we're trying to find something that everyone can kind of get on board with. That way we can all communicate here in the Ozarks. And if you're trying to do the same thing in your area, that's going to be a very important thing, to be able to communicate amongst yourselves, to communicate with hopefully some level of security. And because of the type of communications, you never know anymore. You could get banned from whatever platform you're on because of what you're saying, So that creates a little bit of a problem, but we're working on trying to come up with a really good solution that everyone can kind of get on board with, and yet not lose their, give away all their information. It's kind of a balance, because the fact is that there's nothing secure right now. Nothing is absolutely secure. Then we're also talked about things like a bartering type of network where people could barter their goods and services with each other. There was already some of that going on. Some people that had certain skills that they were going to trade with other people. So that was a really good thing. And then we also talked about at each meeting having classes that are being, done by each member. Everyone there, and I said this yesterday and I believe it, everyone there has something to contribute. They have some kind of knowledge in some area that they could put on a 20, 30-minute class and benefit the rest of the group. And so we're already discussing that. I've been talking with a few individuals that, in upcoming meetings that they will be putting things on. This isn't something, just to clarify, this whole meeting yesterday and any meetings that's done in the future, this isn't something that I want to be in charge of, or that it's all about me or this channel. If I can use this channel and the outreach of this channel to start something like this, encourage this in other areas and in this area, then I'm happy with that. I'm not looking to be in charge of it. So how does this transpose to you? Because not all of you watching live in this area. This is something that you can get started here in your area. You can, you just have to have the time, and you have to have the place, and you have to reach out to people. And I can tell you from my past experience, you may do one of these meetings, plan and prepare it and announce it, and then the day comes and no one shows up. That's happened to me before. And I've done it, and there's only been a couple of people show up. And then guess what? Yesterday, 100 people showed up. Now, of course, you could say, well, you've got a YouTube channel, and that's true. But if you plan a meeting in your area and you shoot me an email, I will promote it on this channel. If it's close enough and that I could drive to, and it's at a time that I could, I wouldn't, have a problem showing up at your meeting also. But I would certainly promote it on this channel if you're going to do a meeting like this. And then you just got to keep at it. Because of the things that's happened in the last year, I think more people are realizing that we really need each other. We really need to build community. And so I think more people are on board with this. But you just got to keep pushing it. There's all kinds of places that you can host a meeting. The one we were at yesterday, it costs, but you can find places that are free. Library rooms, a lot of times, there's no charge. And then just put the word out and keep doing it, and eventually someone will show up, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. With the nature of the things in this world today, and this is what we talked about yesterday, this kind of stuff is necessary. I really believe it is. We all want this lifestyle, living out like this, being more prepared, in whatever level that you are. We all want it. But the downside is that sometimes we feel like we're the only ones out here. And there were a lot of people yesterday that told me that. They said, man, I felt for so long like I don't know anyone around me. And I certainly don't know anyone around me that lives like I do. And then they come to this meeting and they find out that 15 miles away, there's another family living just like them. And so that's the beauty of it, is finding out that there's other people like you. And it's very necessary, because this divide and conquer mentality, that's what's going on in the world today, especially here in America. We see this divided by races and genders and religion and all this kind of stuff. And on a micro scale, that's more of a macro scale. On a micro scale, it's happening with folks like us. We come out here and we make sacrifices living like this. And one of those sacrifices is sometimes we're out here all alone. And you don't have to be, because more and more there are people doing this same kind of thing, especially here in the Ozarks. The Ozarks is certainly a hotbed. I'd say at least half of the people there yesterday were not originally from the Ozarks. They had moved here within the last year, maybe two. And like I said, there were a few families that were in the process of moving. There was a family from Las Vegas, Nevada. And they came to the meeting, and they're trying to find a place here. In fact, if you're watching this video, I forgot your contact information, so please shoot me an email, because I'd like to stay in contact with you folks that came from Las Vegas. But anyways, this is a doable thing. I hear people all the time tell me, well, I just don't know anyone. It's just impossible there's no one like me. And there's no one that lives like me near me. It's just impossible. It's not impossible. You've got to try. There were people there that were elderly. And there were a couple of people specifically that I talked to, and they told me, they said, they worry at their age that they're getting to the point that they're not really able to do as much anymore, but they have such a wealth of knowledge in their head. And, then talking to them, they definitely know what they're doing. But their body's starting to fail them. And I'm telling you, those people are valuable. They have way more knowledge than the average person, especially way more knowledge than the younger person. These younger people, they may have the physical strength and agility, but they have no clue what they're doing. And so in a meeting like this, in groups like this, you can put that together. So you have the people with the knowledge and years and decades of experience, and then you have this young person that doesn't know anything, but they have the physical strength and agility to do it. And you put them together, and man, you've got something great. So I want to encourage that. And if you're in the Ozarks and you weren't able to make the meeting, there will be future meetings, and encourage you to come to those and be part of it. And this isn't anything exclusive. We're not trying to build some kind of club. I've actually had one person ask at one point, not yesterday, but in the past, say, "Oh, you're just trying to do a cult." No cult. No club. We're just trying to create a place that people like us can come together and communicate and network and help each other out. And so I want to encourage you to do that, because the enemies, the ones that are trying to change the world, globalize it, push it progressively to the left, and Marxist and all this kind of stuff, they don't want us to work together. They don't want us to network. Just like I said, they like that divide and conquer. It helps them out. So don't be so divisive with each other, and really work towards networking and communicating and building a community and working together. That's what our ancestors did. That's how they really survived, and how they built what they did. And so we can do the same thing. There's so much forgotten knowledge out there. And by building this kind of a community, we can, find that forgotten knowledge. And it may be in the elderly that's in it, or it just may be in discovering new ways to do stuff. And so, again, yesterday was a great day, and I'm physically wore out. It was a long day and talked to a lot of people. My throat's a little sore from talking and not having a mic and have to talk over, background noise and stuff. But I am fired up, and thank you for all of you that showed up to the meeting. For those of you that couldn't, don't worry, there'll be more in the future coming up, and hopefully that you can make those. And let's try to get this started. I know there's other groups across the nation that have meetings. People just sometimes meet in coffee shops in the morning and stuff. If you're doing that and you want to get a little promotion, shoot me an email. And I will certainly mention you on the video, mention your meeting on the video, and maybe more people can come to you. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.